Hey y'all, it's Courtney with C. Granny Bee Quilting, and last week we had someone place a question on the QCT5 Facebook group that they had placed multiple patterns in multiple pattern placement, and then they realized they needed to remove one of the patterns, but it wasn't the last pattern. And if they tried to remove it, say it was the first one that they had put on there, they would have to remove all their other patterns and start over marking where they go. So as you can see on my screen here, I have several patterns placed individually that I wanted to stitch out. But what happened was this pattern right here, I had already stitched, and I forgot to say remove all before I placed all these other patterns. And I just meticulously placed these patterns where I wanted them to go. And I thought, oh, now I'm in the same boat that she was in, because this pattern was placed first. There's no way to delete it without deleting all the others and having to start over. So I found a workaround and I wanted to share it with y'all. So I went ahead and went into Quilt, and then I went into Settings, and I told it to pause at the trim lines, and I said okay. And then I went into Optimize, and when you're in Optimize, you can choose what stitches first. And in this case, I just went right here and clicked one. And if you just click on the yellow nodes, they'll click in the order you want them to be. So one, let's say I wanted this one to be second, which I don't, but I'm just going to show you what happens. C2. And if you make a mistake, you can go back here, pick the button that you want to change. And now we'll put this at 2, 3, 4, 5. And I made this one last, the one I wanted to eliminate. And then what I did was say, okay. And as you're stitching them out, after you say sew, it's going to sew the first one you selected, and it's going to pause, and you just say next and let it go ahead and move to the next one and let that one stitch out, and so on and so forth till you get to the last one, and then you just finish it out. You just say finish and don't stitch that last one that you didn't want to stitch. But let's say that you had 2 of them that you didn't want to stitch, then you would just make them your last 2. And I hope this helps you guys. It really worked for me to be able to stitch out my patterns without having to replace them again, and I was so happy with it and thought I would share that little piece of information with you. Happy quilting!